Hello, my name is DJ, and I'm the host of the Mythical True Crime Podcast. Join me and the Darkcast network of indie podcast creators as we delve into the mysterious and the macabre, exploring captivating tales of true crime, legends, and unsolved mysteries from the realms of mythology and reality. Uncover the dark true tales of modern legends with our spoken narratives that blend history, crime, and the supernatural. Just starting Season 3, you can listen to the newest episodes every other week, as well as all my backlog episodes on anywhere you can listen to your podcasts.
Darkcast Network, indie pods with a dark side.
Hi, this is Jenna.
And this is Kelly.
And you're listening to ODFM.
This episode is One Dispensary from Murder. All right, so we're going to October 2nd, which is the day before my birthday.
Yeah? What year?
2012.
Oh.
So a while ago. We're in Newport Beach, California. Nice.
We never go to California.
No, I never do.
I think it's because the weather's so nice there that maybe people don't get as angry. I don't know. Is that what it is?
Maybe.
I don't know.
And this part especially, because a show I watched, it described Newport Beach as where you move when you have so much money that you don't know what to do with.
So we'll never live there. Got it.
I probably won't even be able to visit. So
right. We'll drive past it. There's the turnoff.
Mary Barnes, she is a 53-year-old Florida woman because we can't get away from Florida. I mean,
God, no, we can't.
No, she just moved to Newport Beach to live with her boyfriend at a house he shared with a roommate named Michael. Maybe they're not super billionaires that can afford everything, so they have roommates. I don't know.
Maybe it's just me, but if I got to a certain point in my 50s, and I had enough money to live somewhere really nice, I would rather live somewhere smaller and not have a roommate.
Totally.
I don't know.
Totally.
I'm just surprised to hear that.
No, I agree. I would not want to. But Michael that was their roommate, he'd been renting a room in the house for about 8 months. And Mary had just moved in 2 days before this day, in October 2nd. So this house they moved to, it's just a block from the beach in a nice area, like low crime. But from the sounds of it, there really aren't any bad areas in Newport Beach. So I don't know if they need to really worry about that. Michael, Mary's new roommate, she describes him as like a teddy bear. He seems super sweet. And since she's only been there 2 days, Mary barely knows him,
Sure. Right. Yeah.
All she knows is that he's 28. Way younger, and he's an entrepreneur.
Still really weird so she's in her 50s, so her boyfriend's got to be
I think so. I think he's
similar
in his 50s too.
And he's renting out a room to a 28-year-old?
Yeah.
It's just,
maybe it's a friend of his that he's helping out. I don't know.
All right.
But
all right.
Yeah, so Michael's this entrepreneur. In fact, Michael just found his niche in the marijuana business, which at the time was just newly voted in as legal for medical use.
Gotcha. Right. Okay. Back in
2012. Yeah. So though he's involved in what can seem like the drug business, Michael's not some shady drug dealer. He's got a legitimate business and he runs it.
This isn't Scarface.
No, he's not dealing on the streets. Right. So since it's legal in the state, but not federally, still is, marijuana can only be run as a cash business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. They can't use banks. So that creates a problem. Although I think these days now, there's banks that have cropped up that are specifically for the marijuana business, but even then they can't be federally regulated. So anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. What a mess. Okay. So back in 2012, it's all completely cash. That meant Michael often had a lot of cash on hand to conduct business because he had to pay people in cash.
Yep. Had to make change.
Yep. Had to buy all the marijuana in cash, pay his growers in cash, all that. So 2:30 in the morning on this early day in October, Mary is startled awake to feel metal pressed against the back of her head. Not cool. A man whispers into her ear, "Don't worry, this isn't about you."
I'm worried. I'm sorry.
I feel
I'm
like
still
it's
gonna
about
worry.
me. Yeah, I'm still a little freaked out here.
You just made this real personal.
He tapes her mouth, he blindfolds her and zip ties her ankles together and then her hands behind her back. She's carried downstairs and she can hear Michael fighting and crying in another room.
Oh, boy.
Fucking freak out. Okay,
Where's her boyfriend?
Yeah, he's in a business trip.
Oh, Jesus. No. Hi, come live here. And for your first couple nights, I'm not going to be here. That's weird.
Scary.
Anyway.
Yeah, and I think
And I'm going to leave you with this guy that you don't know.
Yep. 2 days after getting there. Weird.
I think I would just put off moving in for him.
Yeah, like you're going to be gone for a while. I guess I'll just wait.
I'll just wait.
I know. Weird. So she hears Michael fighting. The intruders are yelling, "Where's the money?" And Michael replies, "I have $2,000 in a sock in a drawer." And they're like, "No.
Sock.
My sock, get in the drawer." And they're like, "No, where's the $1 million?" And,
that's
Mary's
a big sock.
Right. A lot of stuffed socks.
Right.
It's
a drawer of socks is what that is.
That's a lot of socks. Mary then hears them dragging Michael down feet first down the stairs, and his head's banging each stair. She can hear it on the way down. And then she hears him pull Michael next to her, and they hear some shuffling about and stuff. And then they can hear a vehicle pull into their garage. They know something's happening. So then they're tossed into the back of this vehicle. They can tell it's either like a covered truck bed or a van.
Okay.
And 2 assailants are in the back of the vehicle with them while a third is driving.
Okay.
Creepy. But Mary pays attention to every detail she can because she's like, okay,
her.
I got to know where we're going. She notices that by the speed the vehicle is going, that they must be traveling on a highway because they're going pretty freaking fast. Oh, okay. So yeah, I got to give gruesome warnings. I forgot. Trigger warnings.
Oh boy.
There's some pretty bad graphic things that happen. So if you need to forward through. So they're in the truck. The men continue to beat Michael mercilessly. He's whipped with a rubber hose, shocked repeatedly with a stun gun, and burned with a blowtorch.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a little dangerous to be using in the back of a car.
Right.
Wow.
But I mean, with hairspray these days, I don't know.
What? Hairspray? I was thinking, it's flammable and there's a car. And
true. And there's gas in the car.
Gas and you don't want to light a car on fire.
Good point.
Hairspray. It wasn't the 80s. There wasn't a lot of Aquanet.
That's true.
In 2012.
Maybe, and they're probably more natural being on the beach in California. So, except for the silicone implants. But other than that.
Are those flammable?
I don't know. I'm just saying they're not natural.
Oh, okay.
They might be. My boobs on fire. Boobs. I hate it when my boobs light fire.
I know. They're so flammable.
What is it? Self-combustion or whatever?
Right. You don't want that.
Self-combusting boobs. Okay. So Mary's left alone. They don't touch her. She's just laying there bound.
Yeah, bound
up.
Bound.
She can't.
Bound. Okay.
Yeah. She's bound up. She can't do anything. She's horrified hearing the suffering Michael's going through, and she has no way she can help him. Doesn't barely even know him. She's like, what the fuck did I just move here for? What?
Right. I immediately regret this decision.
What? Florida is that's dangerous.
I don't even love this guy that much. I
met him online.
He's not that great.
No,
it's not that great.
Oh, so it continues for hours. These beatings and shit.
Well, and she probably doesn't know the area that well, so she can't totally have a good idea of where they're going. She just knows they went by
they know that
kind of freeway or expressway
something quick,
or something.
Right? So Michael keeps telling him over and over, I don't have $1 million, but I have 100,000 in a safety deposit box. I can get that for you. And they would just keep saying, that's not good enough, and go back to torturing him. They're yelling at him, show us where you buried the $1 million. All this shit. I'm sure Mary's like, is this like casino? What is going on?
Yeah, what's happening? Yeah, totally.
Finally, Mary hears the unmistakable crunch of gravel, and she knows there's somewhere.
I'm so glad you said gravel, because when you said crunch, I got a little nauseated. Okay, crunch of gravel. Okay, they're on gravel.
Yep, they're on gravel. The vehicle has stopped in the middle of the Mojave Desert.
Oh.
Mary and Michael, they're pulled out of the truck and laid down in the dirt side by side. And they're sure, okay, this is where we're getting executed. This is where we're going to die, you know?
Wow.
The masked men are sure that Michael has $1 million buried somewhere out in this desert, like some movie. I know.
Okay. All right.
And they're determined to find it. They just keep yelling at him, show us where you buried it out here. We know it's out here.
It's the middle of the night in the middle of the desert.
Right. For the final time, Michael swears to them, there is no $1 million. And it's definitely not buried in the desert. I don't know what's going on type of thing.
Right.
So the men decide, okay, well, if we're not going to get the money, we're going to leave with something from Michael that he values probably more than money. So they yank, okay, this is where it gets rough. They yank down Michael's pants. They cinch a zip tie to the base of his penis.
No.
Ooh, with a serrated knife. One of the men begins cutting while saying in a sing-song voice, back and forth, until he has cut off the penis.
And he did it with a little song? Oh my God, that's so twisted.
Psycho. Fucking scary. So Michael passes out. I mean.
Well, I honestly, I hope so. Mary, she doesn't know what's going on, does she? Because she's still blindfolded,
Not
right?
really.
Or does she know where she is? Okay.
So she
got
just
to watch
hears
this?
it all. She gets to hear it all. And she can kind of tell what's going on.
Right.
Just from how sick it is. Michael passes out, like I said, from the pain, but he's jolted back when a liquid is dousing his body. So Mary can hear the glugging of the liquid coming out of the bottle. Oh, and she's like, oh shit, we're going to be set on fire. You know?
Yeah, right. That's what I'm thinking.
This is what's coming. Michael is pleading with him, like, if you're going to burn me, just shoot me. Please just shoot me instead. Please, just begging. But instead of the smell of gas, a sharp tang of bleach fills the air. And it, this is cruel, but it eats into Michael's cuts and burns. Like they have hurt him so bad. Mary's shaking, still blindfolded and bound, when one of the men crouches down beside her, presses a knife against her hand. Remember, they're behind her back.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm going to take this, meaning the knife, and I'm going to throw it. If you can get to it and cut through your zip ties, then today's your lucky day. Fuck you. And then he throws the knife. She can hear it hit somewhere.
Oh.
The men get into the truck and drive away. So when Mary can no longer hear the tires on the gravel, she's able to dislodge the blindfold with her knees. So she could see something glinting, she's trying to look around, see what she can see. She can see something glinting in the sand a ways away.
Okay.
So she butt scooched her way to it.
Right.
It was the knife. And
holy cow.
She's struggling with everything behind her, and she's able to cut the zip ties around her ankle while holding the knife in her bound hands, but she can't get
she can't get her hands
on her. I mean,
I don't know that I would be able to do that. I don't.
She couldn't get the right grip to make it happen. But then she scooches over to Michael, pulls off his blindfold and pulls out his gag, and she tries to cut the ties off his hands, but his skin has already swollen so much around the zip ties.
Oh God!
That she can't even get it under them.
Get it under the zip ties.
She just keeps kind of cutting him. So she manages to just get up. She manages to stand up. So she decides, okay, well, I can't help him here. I'm going to have to go get help. Michael's losing a ton of blood at this point through
oh my God,
his major cut. So Mary knows that she's got to go get help. She could see lights moving in the distance quite a ways away. Okay. So she decides to run in that direction. She is running barefoot across the desert gravel and sagebrush as fast as she could. But it's like really slow going because it's cutting, it's hurting, it's middle of the night. She can barely see. She makes her way across the dirt and sticks close to a road finally where there's like a lone car coming by.
Oh boy. Okay.
Weird coincidence, but it happens to be a cop.
Oh my God.
I know. I could see you were thinking like, it's going to be the
I was
people.
like, this is going to be worse. This is going to be worse, right?
Thank God happens to be a cop. He noticed this barefoot woman like running across the desert. And he's like, what is going on?
This is not a good situation. I'm going to need some backup. Right?
I'm going to need some backup.
I'm going to need some serious backup already.
It's California. We got the weirdos, some barefoot lady running around in the desert. He pulls over. He sees that she is zip tied. He sees her condition, like something's going on. So he begins, smart man, to take photos as soon as he sees her.
Smart, really smart.
very smart. He's like, this is something weird. I'm going to take pictures just in case. So he makes her stand by the car, takes pictures. She's telling him what happened. She's saying, Michael's still out there. He's bleeding very badly. We got to get to him. And she gets the cop in the car. She's able to lead him back to the crime scene in the middle of the desert. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, oh God.
Yeah, in the dark.
Wow.
So as the cop steps out of the car, the scent of bleach blows into his face. It must have been so bad.
So much. Oh my God.
So he calls for backup, takes photos of everything, including Michael. Like I found some in a show I watched. They didn't put them online.
Yeah.
But yeah, just trying to get,
bad, huh?
Yeah, get pictures of everything before it's.
Was he still alive?
He was still alive, still breathing.
Oh my God. Okay.
So his injuries are terrible, and they see he's missing his penis.
Yeah.
So
it's
they search.
Obvious.
Yeah, it's.
I doubt they put his pants back up.
Nope, they were still down. Yeah, so they search all around. They can see, like his pants are totally bleaching out, all this white stuff on him, and
oh God.
So they're searching around trying to find it because they think maybe it could be reattached, if they can find it.
Oh, okay. Right.
Penis, it's nowhere. They took it with them.
They took it with them?
Mm-hmm. Motherfuckers. I mean, how cruel.
What are they going to do with it?
Right. Like just to say, hey, you didn't tell us where the $1 million is, so we're taking your penis.
Right. I mean, did they just throw it on the seat? Did they put it in a Ziploc? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, and I never got to hear what they did with it.
That's so weird.
Disgusting. It's just cruel.
They threw the knife and left with the penis. I would have been like, I'm going to keep my knife.
Yeah.
I'll toss the penis.
Right.
This is very weird thinking.
I could use the knife again. The penis, not so much.
Exactly.
Oh.
This is no longer of any use to anybody. Okay, sorry. I'm just like, this is very odd thought process.
Yeah, it's really, really gross.
Okay.
When paramedics cut away his bleach-soaked clothes, they see prints from his attackers that have been chemically seared into his skin from the bleach. Isn't that horrifying? How painful. I'm taking that to mean shoe prints, not like handprints, but it could have been something else.
Okay.
I don't know. Could have been hands, but they never really said what kind of prints they were in the articles. Okay. Mary and Michael both can't think of anyone who would do something like this. Like, so police have to start from ground zero.
I just got here. This is day 3 for me.
She's
Thanks.
like, I thought I was leaving this behind in Florida. What is happening?
I have been in California for 3 days and I'm out.
I don't like this.
I'm going home.
So the cops, they head to the pair's house, Michael and Mary's house, and they start canvassing the neighborhood in Newport Beach. Oh, I should also mention Michael's last name is never shared, for obvious reasons too.
Okay.
They all go to the pair's house. They start canvassing the neighborhood in Newport Beach. One woman said she'd seen something suspicious the day before. She was kind of elderly lady.
Okay.
A white pickup had parked behind Michael's house. 3 men dressed in construction gear stood outside, which I don't think is weird. But this woman, for some reason, had some sixth sense about it.
Third sense.
I smelled something.
What is that?
Funny.
Taste? What's third? What's the third one?
Yeah, that third eye. Maybe I was going
right there. You go.
She had her third eye open, and the officers are like, "Okay, could you possibly describe the truck in more detail?" In the hopes they could get any more information to try to find it. She's like, "Well, will the license plate number work?"
Oh, so this is one of those people. She had nothing better to do, so she's like,
I'm going to write this down.
I'm on the neighborhood watch.
Totally. They're like, yeah, that's great. So they get that from her. So the truck ends up being registered to a man named Kyle Handley. Michael tells him, yeah, I know Kyle, but can't think of a reason Kyle would be tied to this in any way.
Yeah, but his truck was there. So start thinking.
Yep, start thinking. And Kyle lives in the area, but not like next door or anything. But the two had become friends through the marijuana business. Kyle, in fact, was one of the growers who supplied the marijuana to Michael sold at the store. Michael even describes how one time he and Cardi B.
He and Cardi B, they're close. Got it. Okay.
Newport Beach and all. Yeah. Okay. So Michael even describes how he had treated Kyle to a party trip. That's where Cardi comes in.
Okay. Party trip.
to a party trip in Vegas along with some friends. So he had treated all these people, until this big party. So police get a warrant to search Kyle's house because they're like, something's bigger going on here. He's got to have something to do with this. The white truck, which it ends up being a white truck with a topper on the back.
Ah.
Yes, it's parked there, but Kyle's not there. So they go ahead and search the house anyway. Like, okay, well, you're not here. We're going to search it. There's not much to search as the place basically turns out to be a grow house dedicated to growing wheat. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's not any furniture. There's barely anything else there. However, they do find a canister of zip ties like those used on Michael and Mary.
Did they happen to find a penis without a human?
They didn't find
without a body?
that I know of. Maybe they did. And they're like, we'll keep this for later. But then they go in the backyard and they find like big black trash bags.
Okay.
And a large green bag. Don't know why that's significant. But inside the green bag, they find a cut zip tie and towels covered in bleach that look like they had also bloodstains possibly on them.
Oh.
They're like, okay, we're definitely onto something. This is weird. So they go back to the truck. They open the back of it up and immediately get hit with bleach fumes, like bad. So police decide, okay, this is enough evidence to charge Kyle, and an arrest warrant is issued for him for kidnapping, aggravated assault, and mayhem. Mayhem.
For mayhem. Okay, like the guy from the Allstate commercials?
I know, you've been causing mayhem again.
Right. Boy, do I want to see this commercial.
Yeah. So they find Kyle. He's arrested on October 6th. So now they're hoping he turns on his accomplices because there were two other men in the truck. Also inside the truck, they found blue nitrile surgical gloves, those blue.
Oh, okay. Blue plastic gloves.
Yeah.
Okay.
The gloves were sent in for DNA analysis and they were found to have the DNA of a new suspect.
Oh.
Yay. His name is Hossein Nayeri.
Okay.
So Hossein had been in trouble with the law before. So fortunately, his info was in the database.
Oh, goody.
Let's hear about Hossein. He's a very interesting character. So he was born in Iran. He had come to the U.S. with his family as a young boy. He grew up in Fresno, California. He's a middle child of two hardworking, successful parents. His dad's a doctor. His mom's a lawyer. I mean, this kid's not wanting for much.
It's like the Cosby kids.
Totally.
Right.
He grew up to be athletic, outgoing, but he also...
He's Theo.
He's Theo.
He's Theo.
He is. Okay. Although he's kind of a black sheep Theo of the family.
He's not
so maybe
Theo.
Maybe he's more like the Fresh Prince. Maybe.
Okay.
But in a bad way. Like he's rebellious. He gets into a lot of fights. He's always causing trouble, kind of.
Okay.
Parties a lot after high school. And then he decides to join the Marines, which he claims he did to get more structure in his life because he was partying too much.
It's one way to go.
Smart. Yeah.
Okay.
So in the Marines, he's assigned to an upper level position due to his smarts and skills, like almost right away. He's so impressive.
Okay.
He was only in the Marines for 2 years, though, because he just couldn't seem to stay out of trouble. He would get into fights, he'd steal things, and at one point he was even dishonorably discharged. But this kid was so smart, he went to court and was able to get it changed to just discharged.
Wow.
I mean, this
kid
has skills. He's very smart.
Yeah, but he's not using them for good.
No. And to come from a family that's like so well-to-do and it just is shocking. So after the Marines, he returns to Fresno. He works as a waiter at a cafe. He's handsome. He's obviously charismatic.
Works as a waiter. He does not sound like he's very much like the customer service type.
Well, yeah. When you get to on the interviews I watched him, he's very, very well-spoken, very friendly and pulls people in. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You wouldn't think so, even though he likes to start fights and shit. But no, he's very charismatic. Here's what I wrote. He was able to talk his way out of shit all the time. And he's now 24. While he's working as waiter, he meets a beautiful young woman named Courtney Shigerian. Courtney is only 16 at the time she starts dating Hossein.
Hello.
24. Yeah. Courtney also comes from a good and successful company, much like Hossein. Her parents, of course, don't like the idea of her dating an adult man at such an age. So They meet him and they immediately peg him as trouble and they don't want her to be with him. They're like, honey, this
I don't
kid's
care
trouble.
if he's the nicest person ever.
Yeah. That's
what, 8 years older
gap.
than her?
Yeah.
At that age? That's
yeah. Because of this, she begins hiding the relationship from her parents.
No.
Yeah. And Hossein is one of those people who's very talented at manipulation, like so good at it. And Courtney's only 16. So makes it a little more easy to be.
Aside from the fact that she's young, what does he have in common?
Right. So she's vulnerable, of course. She's only 16. He's able to convince her that her parents don't have her best interest in mind. You know, I'm the only one
Come
you
on,
probably
when you're
rely
16, you already think that. You're just looking for people to affirm that for you.
And he did that for her. So they continue to date all the way into Courtney's adulthood. Yeah, she kind of misses growing up on her own that way. Though Hossein is so smart and charismatic, he could probably get a great job easily, but he decides he wants quick money instead. He always wants the quick payday. Right. He realizes, the pot business, that would be a good one to get into. Mm-hmm. So Hossein, along with 2 of his high school buddies, they start growing marijuana to sell to the new dispensaries popping up. It's actually not a bad idea, as long as you get a license to do it. His high school buddies are Kyle Handley, the guy that owned the truck, and another man named Asan. I think his name is Asan Tusi. Courtney described Hossein as kind of the alpha dog of the group, who the other guys just kind of followed along with. He would tell them what to do. Their business grows and it booms and does really well until tragedy strikes. So one night, a few years before the torture of Michael, that October 2nd of 2012, Hossein and his bestie and business partner, Asan, are out partying at a casino. They both had some drinks and shots. For whatever reason, Hossein decides to drive himself and Asan home. Yeah. Oh, boy. Hossein loses control of the car and rolls it, and Asan dies in the crash. So Hossein now faced a vehicular manslaughter charge. And instead of facing up to the charges, he flees to his home country of Iran.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man.
I know. He's digging a bigger hole. So a judge puts out an arrest warrant. Now Hossein is an international fugitive.
Oh, boy. Okay.
So Courtney's not surprised he ran. She said he'd do anything to get out of trouble. And the 2 broke up then. So, yay.
That's what it took?
That's what it took. But it's not done. He's in Iran for about a year, living with family. And he even marries an Iranian woman, which no one in the U.S. is aware of, especially Courtney.
Oh.
And then he decides, you know what? I want to sneak back into the U.S. I'm done with Iran. So he gets caught sneaking back into the U.S.
Not a very good sneaker.
No.
Did he leave his wife in Iran?
Yep. Just I don't think he probably even told her. Just left. Yeah. Quality man. He gets caught, but instead of facing hefty charges for running, he receives a suspended sentence with time served and 5 years probation for pleading guilty to it.
What?
I don't know why he was just slapped up. I think because he's such a good talker. He was probably like, this was my best friend. This has ruined my life.
It was so awful. I had to go to my home country and marry somebody. It was terrible.
Yeah. For a whole year.
I know. Yeah. Took a little vacation back to the homeland.
Yeah.
Must have been awful for you.
How sad. Yeah. Dick. So Kyle and Hossein, they once again began to grow marijuana as an operation. So in 2008, we're still way back there in time. Courtney is attending Cal State Fresno. She's studying law. She's doing great. Somehow she gets sucked back into Hossein's love trap.
Oh, no.
And they get back together. And Courtney said things started out great, but got progressively worse, starts getting verbally abused, and then
Shocker.
Progresses.
I'm completely surprised by this information.
Yeah. He's that type. So he uses comments that break her down over time, how they do, and manipulates her. Separates her from her friends and family, basically. And eventually he becomes physically abusive to her. And he's got her totally under his control. She
isolated.
Is still pretending everything's fine. Yeah. Still going to law school and everything. She, once again, keeps this relationship a secret because nobody likes him that really knows him. So further alienates her. She even marries him.
No, come on, Courtney.
Courtney, at this point, they've been together years, and she is terrified of him. Like, one fight was so violent that he held her down with a box cutter, strangling her, and told her he was going to cut her neck.
Wow.
He'd finally had enough at that point and calls the cops because she was very scared. And he's able to swindle a deal and only receives anger management classes as a punishment. He doesn't even end up with a domestic violence record on his record.
Wow.
Yeah. So it seems to Courtney, who finally spoke up, that the more he gets away with, the more he's pushing the boundaries, the more powerful he is. So why fight?
Exactly.
And she has no one else in her life. So, and no confidence. She still believes Hossein's the only one that really loves her. So she takes him back.
No.
On the outside, everything looks great. Like, she's still doing law school. Her parents are bankrolling her life. Like, they're paying, because she's in law school. So they're like, we'll pay for school. We'll pay for your living expensive.
Jeez.
So they're funding everything while she's in school. She would charge whatever Hossein said they needed onto her parents' credit cards while basically funding Hossein and Kyle's grow business.
And they don't know that she's even back with him.
No, they think it's just expenses she has. So I don't know why she has to bankroll. Maybe their business isn't doing as good as it was before.
Wow.
Whatever reason it was, they decide they need a quick payday because maybe he wants more money to live on. Maybe, I don't know. But when Kyle had gone on that trip with Michael to Vegas, he told Hossein all about it. He said, you know what? He was flashing money all over. He was bankrolling all of our trip there. He has a ton of money. He must be rolling in it.
Wow.
So they do some like fucked up math in their heads and decide he must have $1 million of cash somewhere. I don't came up with a number. Like,
they just pulled a number out of their asses. Okay.
So they devise a scheme to follow Michael around to see where he's putting all this money he must have, knowing he's not putting it in banks, obviously. So they first think he must be stashing it at his parents' house in Huntington Beach. They set up cameras to watch the house, to follow his parents.
Yeah,
they're like, he's putting money there. So Hossein planned to break in and search the house, but there was a problem. They had a black lab pit bull mix that would bark his head off when Hossein would come near. So this is how devious and disgusting this guy is, though. He decides to solve the problem. He laces hamburger patties with some kind of poison, according to Courtney. She's telling me all this, and fed it to the dogs. However, it did not kill the dog. It was fine.
Good.
It was fine.
Good.
So yes.
Bite his ass.
I know. Kill this dude. Hossein and Kyle also put up surveillance cameras around the outside of Michael's house to watch his comings and goings. I mean, these guys go to a lot of work. They even attached GPS equipment on his car.
Okay. They obviously have some kind of cash.
Something.
Because they can get all this shit.
Courtney's
her parents are paying for it. If they could just hold on to this money, maybe they wouldn't need the $1 million that doesn't exist.
Yeah, wouldn't that be smart? So they watch Michael for something like 6 to 10 months. When Hossein's like, I got it all figured out. I got this. He excitedly shows Courtney GPS records from Michael's car on his computer. And he's like, look at this. There's this path going through the Mojave Desert. And he's like, doesn't this look like a great place to bury a bunch of money? She's like, guess, so on that alone, he decided, okay.
That's what they based all of this on.
Was Michael driving out?
He went out to the desert. Maybe he wanted to see the stars.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Like, they're like, well, what would anyone want to go out there for? He must be burying a bunch of money.
There's only one reason that you go out to the desert, obviously.
To bury money.
You either bury money or bury a body.
Right.
These are the things, right?
That's what they thought.
There couldn't possibly be any other reason.
Be another reason. But there was. Michael had gone out into the desert to meet a casual acquaintance about investing in some deal on a gold mine or something that was out there. So
it's a really weird place. Don't people usually do these deals at like a Waffle House?
Yeah. Maybe he wanted to go see it in person. Like, does this really exist? I don't know.
Okay.
But that was why he'd been out there. He was not out there burying fucking
money or bodies or seeing the stars.
No. Okay. But a week before they decide to execute this kidnapping plot, Hossein is out partying again, and he's driving Courtney's Tahoe.
Okay.
A motorcycle cop tries to pull him over, but Hossein decides, no, I'm not going to get caught this time. So a high-speed chase ensues.
Oh.
He gets ahead of the cop enough, and he abandons the vehicle, flees on foot. So a police helicopter and squad cars arrive to aid in the search for him. Like, they know he's out there somewhere, but they can't find him anywhere. And they're like right next to the ocean at this area. And they're like, he's got to be in the ocean. And in fact, he went and hid in the ocean, basically. They couldn't find him. He's swimming to where it might be safe to get away.
Wow.
He gets away, runs to a friend's house for the night. And this dick, since the Tahoe is registered to Courtney, cops show up at her townhouse in the wee hours of the morning to let her know, yeah, your SUV's been in a high-speed chase with police just hours earlier. And she absently, like, she's woken up. It was probably like 5 in the morning. She absently is like, yeah, my husband took the car last night. And then she's like backtracking.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh, no, you need to leave, and ushers them away.
Mm-hmm.
Hossein later then appears at their house, soaking wet, angry that Courtney had talked to the cops. She's like, I don't know what the fuck you were doing.
Wait, how am I supposed to know?
Yeah. So he tells her, you go file a fake police report saying how the vehicle had been stolen the night before.
But she already said.
Yeah. He's like, go fix what you messed up, basically, because he's a dick. Meanwhile, Hossein and Kyle begin amassing tools for their kidnapping plot. Courtney sees them with a taser, a butane torch, ski masks, and fake construction worker outfits.
Oh, this can be nothing but good. Nothing but, well, it is the beginning of October.
True.
I mean,
maybe they were going to be like
coming up.
Yeah, maybe some sort of torching construction
worker.
Yeah. With tasers and shit.
With tasers. Mm-hmm.
That's when they go and carry out their unsuccessful plot of Michael's Millions. Mm-hmm. Because Hossein had wrecked her Tahoe, the police still had it in their custody after the kidnapping. And now that Hossein is somehow involved in the kidnappings and torture, they decide to give the SUV a once-over. Inside, they find 2 surveillance cameras and a GPS tracker. And when they look at the camera footage, they see all of this surveillance of Michael's house. So now they're like, okay, now we have proof that Hossein was involved. Meanwhile, Hossein hears that Kyle had been nabbed by the police.
Oh, Kyle got arrested. Right. Okay.
Yes. And once again, he runs off to Iran. Because where do you go? You leave.
Wow. How did he get out of the country?
I don't know. Yeah, they must not had a warrant out for him. So he was able to fly out.
But he's already run once.
Yep.
You think he'd be flagged?
Yeah, as a no-flight.
This guy tends to leave the country when he does bad things.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And it's after 9/11 and they had all those in place, those measures. But
okay.
So he runs off and unbeknownst to Courtney, she wasn't the only woman helping Hossein through this whole thing.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
There's another person?
Yeah. Oh, this dick. Another one of his high school friends, Naomi Rodas, was a side chick of his.
Oh my God. He's got 2 wives and a side chick.
Yep. And Hossein had Naomi buy GPS devices for him to help cover his tracks before the kidnapping. Like, he put her in danger. Like, so both of them, Naomi and Courtney, are buying all this shit for him, screwing this guy who he's such a gross man. It turns out that Naomi's estranged husband, get this name, Ryan Kevorkian.
Okay.
I don't know if he's related to the famous doctor, but he was the third man who had apparently been involved in the kidnapping.
Oh my God. Okay. I was wondering who the third guy was.
Yep. And actually it took a lot to try to figure out who that was for me to I had to dig to figure out who this third person was. He wasn't a main
his
character.
Side chick's
ex-husband. Yes. So I know there's so much shit going on. It's like,
I'm getting dizzy.
I know. When Hossein had fled, Courtney had connected with him a couple times in Iran, on and off again.
I wonder if he stopped and visited with his wife.
Yeah, I wonder.
You went a long way for milk, man. You went a long way.
Yeah, right? Not come back. So Courtney meets him in Dubai. She brought him clothes, medicine, and cash. And it ended up being more money that she had taken from her parents.
Oh, my God.
Naomi had also done the same thing. Once again, unbeknownst to Courtney. I know, it's just this
Holy cow.
that Ryan Kevorkian had been brought in last minute into the scheme as muscle. He must have been some big dude. So apparently neither of the former couple knew the other was involved with Hossein. Like Ryan didn't know Naomi was screwing Hossein, and Naomi didn't know Ryan was the third man in the plot. This guy's good. He keeps all his shit in a row. He's very organized, I think, in his mind. So cops know they somehow need to get Hossein overseas. But Iran is one of those countries that has no extradition treaty with the United States. So yeah, they decide Courtney is going to be the key to lure him into getting caught.
Okay.
So Hossein hears that all of his possessions in the car, like the cameras and the car itself, are all ready for release from the police station. He tells Courtney, go pick it all up. You need to get all that stuff back because it's got those cameras. So when she arrives, police pull her into an interview room and they present her with all the evidence, and they know she's been involved with a bunch of it somewhat, and that she knows everything. So she would be an accessory to the crime, and she could be held liable for just as much.
And she went to law school, so she knows all this.
One cop at the station, Courtney's parents are pretty well known. I think one of them is a lawyer. So one of the cops at the station knows her dad, and he calls him and tells him the situation. Dad didn't even know she was with Hossein. Still.
We told you he was bad news. But this is next level. We have no clue.
Cop's like, she is in trouble. You need to talk to her and convince her to turn on him. He didn't even know she's married to him. None of this stuff. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So he immediately gets on the phone with Courtney and he is like, you are going to work with the police. I don't care what the fuck is happening. I don't care how scared you are of Hossein. You are doing this. So it's the only way to can guarantee her safety.
Right.
So now, with the help of Courtney, they plan the trap for Hossein, using her as the bait. The plan is that Courtney is going to convince Hossein that she wants to go on a romantic vacation with him to Spain. And Hossein would have to have a layover in Prague, which is a place that they could legally arrest him and extradite him. So Courtney's terrified. She's like, he's going to figure out the manipulation. Like, I'll have to have this perfect tone of voice because he's catches on everything. And she's like, he will kill me. I'm totally convinced. So on the day they're to meet in Spain, she can't get a hold of him. And she's sure, he's figured it out. I'm going to end up dead. Finally, though, he calls her back and says, oh, man, I accidentally fell asleep and slept in, but I'm on the way. It's okay. I'm on the way. He steps off the plane in Prague. Police are able to grab him there, and they strip search him. Police aren't so nice in Prague like they are here.
Oh.
They strip search him. They cavity search him, and they toss him into basically a dungeon. It's one of the really old style jails. So
sweet. Good.
He's in this really miserable jail for an entire year.
For a year? So
year.
it's not an instant extradition situation.
A while for all the courts to go through everything.
Yeah.
Yes. He describes it as like a medieval Stone Age dungeon style crib.
Too bad it was only a year.
I know. He deserved to just stay there, rot away.
Mm-hmm.
Like he said, was so freezing cold because all of it's made out of stone and they don't take care of you. They barely feed you. So during this year, Courtney not only divorces him, but she's able to get the marriage annulled somehow.
Good.
Yeah. But this isn't the end of that story. So on September of 2014, Hossein is now in California.
This is all in 2 friggin' years?
This is all in 2 years. He is 2014. Hossein is now in California, about to go on trial for assault and kidnapping charges. While awaiting trial, he's held in a low-level jail only a few miles from where Courtney lives. So she's terrified knowing he's so close. She's like, he is so smart. He's going to get out. He's going to get me.
Plus, we already know that he is, prone to mayhem.
He's
right. So
this man is mayhem. We know he shouldn't be in low-level shit of anything.
Right.
So she's terrified. She keeps warning him that you cannot put him in a place like this. He needs to go someplace to be held.
She needs to disappear for a while. She needs to.
She should have. Yeah.
She should have.
She's terrified knowing he's so close. And to make it worse, he even sends her a card for her birthday. So he obviously knows where she's living. I know. So Hossein, being the guy he is, he somehow gets his hands on a cell phone in jail. He records himself in doing all sorts of things. He and 2 other inmates, they plot to escape. He records how he plans to do it.
Why would he record that?
I think he's bravado, bragging.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
He's so proud of himself.
I'm smarter than everybody else, right?
Yep. He records himself cutting through a grate in his cell. He had used pieces of his bed, the metal from his bed, and made shivs out of him. Shows himself cutting through a grate behind his cell, tunneling out, and there's 2 other men that do it with him in their own cells. On the night they decide to go for it, he records himself escaping into the space between the walls, along with the 2 other guys. And there are photos of them like behind the walls, taking pictures of the pipes and shit.
Selfies of themselves.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. For a smart guy, this is some dumbass shit.
So dumb. I mean, he's so proud of himself. He's like, I am so amazing. Look at what I can do. And they do kind of do some really cool stuff. They actually show themselves making harnesses out of bed sheets because they have to climb up these really steep walls. And I'm not sure how they tacked into the walls or whatever to climb these. They do it. They make it outside onto the roof, which is 4 stories from the ground. It's not low.
Okay.
They then use those same sheets to rappel 4 stories down the outer walls, and they run off into the night.
Nobody sees
them.
3 people rappelling.
It's a low level facility.
Low security.
Although they do, like in the pictures there, it's like razor wire and shit, but they figure out how to get around it. These guys. And there's pictures of all these cops standing, looking over the side, like, how did that happen?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And they did this, I think it was 5 p.m. before like their last night's check, because this is low level. They don't check constantly. And it wasn't until the next morning or so, 16 hours. 16 hours
16
later.
hours, they don't check on anybody.
Yeah. So they've got a good run on him. Oh, okay. So the next morning, cops arrive at Courtney's place and they're like, hey, do you know where Hossein is?
Oh, she must have.
Right. Yeah.
Why don't you know where he is?
Yeah, exactly. She's horrified, terrified. She's like, he's coming for me. He's going to be the first thing.
Right. I'm going with you guys.
Yeah.
Don't leave here.
Don't leave me. So, this is great. When the deputy district attorney heard that Hossein had escaped, she said, quote, my first reaction was, oh my God, they let Hannibal Lecter out. He is sophisticated, incredibly violent, and cunning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that was her. I mean, everybody's scared of this dude, even the fellow inmates. So the fugitives, they had many hours of that head start. And since they weren't discovered missing from the cell, instead of showing up at Courtney's, though, they call for a cab.
They call for a cab. They can tunnel out, but they're like, we're not walking from here. My dogs are barking. We need a ride.
Ooh, I'm exhausted. That was a lot of work getting out. So the driver doesn't realize he's in for the ride of his life. They get in the taxi. They immediately hold the guy up with a gun.
Yeah.
Poor dude.
Get a gun?
Yeah, there was something I read about that. It was hard to find all that part of information. There was a lady that, and I didn't even put this in the story because there's so many details. Hossein had gotten in a relationship with some lady that was.
Do you have pictures of this guy? Does this guy look like Brad Pitt? What the hell?
He's good looking, but he's not that. I mean, he kind of reminds me of Sylvester Stallone in a way, but not, I never thought he was. No, me neither.
I'm sorry. Where is he getting? He got a gun from another woman?
This woman, I think she was a counselor at the jail. He gets into a relationship with her. She gets them some things like tools and things to help them get out. And I think a gun.
Actual fuck.
Yeah. Okay. She later gets arrested. I didn't even put that part in because I was like, fuck. It just keeps going. This man.
Okay. So they had a gun.
They have a gun. They hold the poor cabbie up.
Okay.
This poor dude, this poor cabbie, he barely speaks any English. He's just trying to make an honest living. He's Asian. I don't know. His name is Long Ma. He's an immigrant from Vietnam.
Okay. And he is immediately changing careers after this shit. He's like, you know what? No.
So the men forced Long Ma to stay with them while they steal his cab, they drive their way to a motel. They don't let him go. They kidnap him. They're not wanting a witness to go tell cops where they are, so they keep him. And he has to live with them at the motel an entire 3 nights while they stay there.
Oh, my God.
When they leave the motel, they dump the cab and then they steal a white van because there has to be a creepy van somewhere in this story.
Yeah. What about Long Ma? Where is he?
He's with them. They're taking Long Ma. Mm-hmm.
Oh, my
He is
God.
now a part of them.
They dumped the cab, but now they took him
with.
But
now Long Ma, you're part of this now, Long Ma. So poor Long Ma, he's like, he doesn't speak.
I just wanted to pick up a fare.
His poor family too. Like he's been missing.
Oh my God. Okay.
4 days now. So on day 4, they drive up to Northern California. Hossein once again tries to be this alpha male and dominate the other men. And conflict begins to erupt between the crew.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially about over whether they want to kill Long Ma.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And Hossein, he's always thinking ahead. And he's like, let's start taking photos with Long Ma to show he's a part of this group. So they take him to the beach. They're all taking selfies with him, dressing him up in hats and stuff, forcing him to smile.
Are you serious?
So they want to say, he's a voluntarily part of this. But one escapee really likes Long Ma. They get along well.
They became BFFs.
Yeah. So he feels like this Long Ma, his life's really in danger with Hossein and this other dude. They're about to kill him. So he decides to run with the cabbie. He takes him in a different car. He must have stolen this car. Drives him back down to Southern California, sets Long Ma free, and then turns himself in. And he says that Hossein is far scarier than jail. I'm going to jail.
I'd rather be in jail.
I'd rather be in jail.
Protect me.
Yeah. I'd rather not be around Hannibal Lecter. Ugh. So Hossein and the other escapee, they end up going to San Francisco. I don't know why they're not leaving California. Just forget it. But they're living in the stolen van, videotaping themselves, living a life on the run, smoking weed, eating bananas for some reason.
What? Eating bananas?
They had these piles of bananas.
Okay.
Making videos. So one day, Hossein steps out of the back of the van where he's spotted by a homeless man. So this homeless man, though, he's a self-proclaimed news junkie. Okay. And he had just read an article about the escapees when Hossein pops out of the van right in front of him. Like,
wow.
Wait a minute. So he immediately goes and reports him. And another chase ensues. But fortunately, this time they're caught.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
So now the trial begins. There's now a ton of evidence against Hossein.
What year is it now?
I think it's still, 2014. I know. You feel like it should be.
Really? Because I thought it was like 2025. I'm like,
I know. It just keeps going. I know. So there's a ton of evidence against him. Defense has a big obstacle in trying to claim his innocence, but he wants them to try. So they try okay, let's do it. So they try all the techniques they can while trying to infer that the blue surgical gloves were planted in the car, trying to pin the crimes on Hossein.
Okay. And the real mastermind of all of this was Long Ma, right? Is that where they went with it?
Yeah, he seems like a real mastermind. Okay. They're trying to say it was Kyle. Kyle's this big mastermind of everything. Okay, we believe you. So fortunately for the prosecution, they have Courtney and everything she knows. And she's got to testify. Otherwise, she's going to go to jail herself. So she's very well spoken. She's able to paint the picture of the two polar sides of Hossein's personality. On one hand, he's super charming, caring, great, makes you feel special. But on the other hand, he's cunning, manipulative, and cruel.
And he will kill you.
He will kill you. Or cut your dick off.
Yeah. Or cut your dick off. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, typical of this kind of narcissist, Hossein insists he's got to take the stand in his own defense.
Oh,
because he is like,
he just has to explain. You know what, you guys, if I could just explain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just
because he is so good at he's manipulated his way out of everything in his life. So just let me up there. Let me tell him.
I got this.
Yeah. Everyone wonders how this one man could have had so much power over other people. But when he takes the stand, it's like really apparent. Like he's very good. He is actually one of the few that actually does very well on the stand.
Oh no.
In defense. Yeah. He's
He
charming.
didn't paint himself into a corner? Damn.
Not so much, but he's very charming, persuasive, and handsome. And he looks, like I said, a little bit like a young Stallone, but he paints Kyle. Kyle's this mastermind. But the police consistently, through everything I talk about, they describe him as a dimwit, like constantly. Kyle.
Okay.
Like he is an idiot. There's no way.
Oh, okay. They're like, no.
Every show and every article, they just paint him as this idiot. So,
okay.
Hossein claims that Kyle hired him to do the video surveillance on Michael and that he didn't know about the kidnapping plot. He claimed Kyle's this pot kingpin and Michael owed him $300,000.
Okay.
So he says, Kyle paid me to keep an eye on Michael to make sure that if he tried to run without paying, they'd know how to find him. So that's what I was doing, recording all this. He's really good on the stand and he's working the jury like a magician. So he cries. He's building sympathy with them, especially over the death of his friend. The prosecutor could actually see it's working on at least one juror.
No.
She's crying on the panel.
No.
So he's like, I got to do something to keep this creep from escaping justice. He is so good. I got to watch part of him. And on the cross, the attorney, he begins to push Hossein. He really wants to get under his collar. So and Hossein starts getting really pissed, getting testy.
That's all he's got to do is piss him off.
He starts trying to intimidate the prosecutor. But when the prosecutor wouldn't back down, like he's used to people doing, Hossein, his true character starts becoming invisible. Well, you start to see this demon side. He even threatens the lawyer while on the stand. Implying basically he could have him hurt or killed. I mean, it was very obvious. Like, are you sure we want to make that remark? Do you know what could happen to you? That type of thing. Woo! So he denounced the trial, saying the jury was receiving, you guys, you're getting incomplete facts and a distorted reality. And this is the best quote of his. John Wayne would have been dazzled by this Wild West style of justice in Orange County.
Oh, wow.
So he's very good. So Michael, the injured Michael, he doesn't share his last name. He takes the stand. He details the injuries he had suffered from. I mean, horrible. From chemical and taser burns, the genital mutilation to profound psychological damage. That is pretty damning. And prosecutors pieced together details of what took place from those involved. So Hossein had attacked Michael in his home while Ryan helped because he was the muscle. Kyle was the getaway driver while Hossein tortured Michael with what the others described as gleeful sadism. He was having a ball doing it. The genital mutilation, this part was rough. It was all, of course, Hossein's idea. He wanted Kyle to do it to make sure he's part of the violence, can't get away with, less likely to rat him out. But when Kyle tried to cut, he started retching and he couldn't do it. So Hossein took over, and that's when the singing...
And sang.
So when the jury went to deliberate, the vote was 11-1. This one jury, that woman who'd been crying. Oh,
his next wife? His future wife.
Seriously, she wasn't convinced of his guilt. So the jury was almost forced to declare a mistrial. But thanks to another juror who worked like an investigator to outline everything. Like she had a whiteboard. She's just outlining everything. She finally convinces this last juror, like, you cannot let this psycho go. So Hossein is given 2 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole for kidnapping and another 7 years to life for the torture. Kyle, the poor little Kyle, he received 4 life terms, 2 without the possibility of parole.
4?
4. I think for mayhem. That mayhem's I don't know how he got the extra.
But how did he get 4?
I think he just wasn't good at fighting for stuff. I don't know. Maybe didn't have as good of lawyers. Ryan Kevorkian, he had pled guilty to 2 kidnapping counts, burglary, and assault with a firearm. He was sentenced to 12 years. He was eligible for parole last year, but I could not find if he made it out or not.
Oh, okay.
Anything.
All right.
Courtney Shigarian was given immunity for her testimony and help in capturing Hossein. She is an attorney in California and is remarried. I saw her website.
Wow.
So, yep, she's still out there. Michael remains in the marijuana business and is happily married.
Wow.
I know.
Is
it goes
Hossein
on and on.
In like some kind of maximum security
Yes,
now? Do we
he
know?
is now
Thank
in max
God.
security someplace. I think it's still in California, but yeah.
I think they should take him back to Prague.
He does. He deserves to go to hard labor or like misery. All right. Would you like to hear my sources?
Wow. Yes, please.
There's a lot of them. abcnews.go.com, 2020, season 42, episode 21, Catch Me If You Can, which is fitting. LAtimes.com, WashingtonPost.com, Rolling Stone article. This article was amazing. So many good details. Wow. It's by Tom Dickinson. It was called A Gruesome Mutilation, a Global Manhunt Inside One of the Most Twisted Crimes Ever. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's an appropriate title,
he
too.
Got
wow.
really good details from people. He must have interviewed everybody. But yeah, it was good. Anyway.
That was a crazy bleeping story.
Thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM, hosted by Kelly DeVries and Jenna Swanson. Production and editing by Kelly DeVries. Theme music by Eric Swanson. ODFM is a satirical true crime podcast for entertainment purposes only. The stories you hear are serious and true. The comments and opinions are not. We apologize if any of our content is harmful or disrespectful.
Hey Oddies, thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM. If you're a longtime listener, hey, we cannot thank you enough for your continued support. And if you're a new listener, thanks for giving us a try. If you like us, please drop us a like, subscribe, or rate us so we can share our stories with more people around the world. And if you'd like more information, like links to our podcast and socials, along with our Patreon fan page, those links are all on Linktree under ODFM Podcast. That's linktr.ee/ODFM Podcast. Side note, you guys, we're obsessed with fan art, and we love making things with it, like stickers for our fans. So if you'd like us to use your designs, send it to us at odfmpodcast@gmail.com. And if we use your design, we'll be sure to send you a sticker.